Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join me in the wild landscape of Scotland. And today we've come to a cool location, which is Montreithmont Forest. And the reason I've come here is because I'm always amazed by like the wide variety of funguses and mushrooms, and there's no better place to find them than in a forest. So today on this little video I've come to document like as many different types of mushroom and fungus as we can find. Just check that out folks. I love like the vivid colours and all the different types, it's just amazing. So we'll get into that in this video folks. I'm obviously I'm not an expert on all that sort of stuff, but I thought it's just a fun wee video, something different, like exploring the wild terrain of this forest, and I'll just document all the mushrooms and fungus along the way. It is crazy. Check this one out for instance. Look at the vivid red yellow colour. What a scene. And I just love it when the sun's shining down through the trees. In the autumn you get all the different colours. The leaves are starting to change and fall off. So yeah, it's just a magical environment right now. Check this out folks, this is one of the finest ones that I've seen so far. Wow. Look at the colour of it. It's almost the perfect round circle, and look, there's more growing. That's how they grow. They start like a ball and then they break free of their, like, what would the word be, their trunk, almost like a tree. And then that's kind of like them flowering, and then they burst open and spread their spores I should say, blow with the wind. And then that's how the next kind of like mushrooms and stuff are created. It's really interesting, it's pretty cool. Look at this folks, this section of forest has recently been cut down. It was like a thick mass of trees here, but I think the recent storm kind of took effect on it. A lot of it was blown down, so they've totally cut this section out. And there's just a crazy maze of amazing paths in Montreithmont Forest, so I'm just basically going to go on a little route and just see what we see. It's a cool adventure folks, and I love all sorts of terrain, from hilltops to coastal rocks and even forest environments. It's so interesting. So I'm just away to cut this route down the side here. There's like a thin strip of trees been left, and I'm going to go all the way down to where the forest is down there. I think I'll try and do like a circuit all the way around. It's amazing often just exploring little paths that you've never been down before. You never know what's around the corner. Look at that folks, there's another one of those. So far it's all been that similar type. Yeah, when the warmer weather was on the go a few months ago, this was like a haven for ticks. So I haven't even explored the Montreithmont area for so long. It's cool to come out on an adventure. Sometimes when they do like forest operations like this, the paths can change or get blocked off. Sometimes new paths can open up. An interesting thing, there's loads of like World War II and Cold War history related to this forest area. There's some old buildings and stuff which has been made into a house and that back for kind of the wartime. So it's interesting often when the trees get taken down, it might uncover history that we've never seen before on the channel. Look at this, this is the edge of what would have been the main forest. And it's a crazy view. So I've come into the thicker forest at the end of the bit they've been cutting down, and just check this out for a scene. Old abandoned tree swing here. I was thinking there'd be a lot more like mushrooms and kind of rare wildlife in the thicker bit of the forest. And this is a crazy bit with the sun shining down through. I'm not sure how overgrown this path's going to be though, because the original path, all the trees have fallen down like over it, so it's just kind of little side paths and stuff, and people have kind of made their own way around. So I'm not even sure how far this path can go. But this used to be a total hotspot for loads of ticks, because I think it's just like the damp grassy environment in the forest like this. I'm going to push on down here and just see what else I can find. The adventure is real once again. But I just thought it's cool when I saw that wee tree swing there. Just look at the atmosphere, the character of that big tree there. Look at that, folks. That's the first example of bracket fungus that we've seen on this adventure. It always clings to dead trees. On this channel we call it the bridie fungus because it resembles the Forfar. But that's cool because that's a different type of fungus. You can find that kind of all year round, I'm pretty sure. Wow, I'm pushing on up to this big old tree. I used to love coming cycling past here. I remember one time I was coming through here on my bike and there was literally like somebody standing like picking twigs off the tree. It was like a homeless looking guy. And it's like, because I was on the bike coming around quite quick, he didn't hear me coming till the last minute and he turned around and like he looked as if he was like living in the forest. But that was a few years ago now. I just kept on cycling by and away down the path. It was a crazy time. Check the size of this tree though, folks. It's got a crazy atmosphere to it. You can see how the wind has devastated these trees. There used to be a path which led at both sides of this tree. Wow, this tree must be ancient. It's just incredible. Often paths like this can be blocked in a storm. Yeah, look at the size of it. Looks like it's been struck by lightning at a certain time. Wow. A tree like that, folks, it's magical. I often say that on the videos now, something's magical, but just the scenery, it's unreal. It always blows my mind that Scotland's got so much to offer. And because I'm always exploring just like wild landscapes, that's often how you find the coolest things. The wee abandoned like houses or any little abandoned nugget that's just hidden within the wild landscapes. And I can hear geese going overhead, flying south for the winter. Check this out, folks. This tree here is just hanging. It's just pinned ever so slightly by that other tree. And literally that could just fall at any moment. Super dangerous. I'm going to make my way around past it. Wow, this is a crazy adventure, folks. I'm not even sure how far around this path I can go. Anyway, I'll update you when I find the next like crazy thing or anything cool. I can hear somebody shooting or whatever in the distance as well, which is unusual. Check that out, folks. It's like every year it must build up a layer upon layer until before you know it, there's a crazy amount of weird fungus. This whole tree is just super interesting. You can see up there where the woodpecker's been burrowing into it with its beak. So then the animals crawl into that hole, and at night the woodpecker comes back and feasts on all the wee grubs and stuff. And that's the reason that you hear woodpeckers burrowing away in these forests at certain times of the year. It's crazy, folks. It's almost alien-like. It's like a smooth surface, a smooth texture. Check that out, folks. Look at the size of that one. That one there has been absolutely massive compared to the other ones. But you can see how there's a group of them there. Potentially there was just one there, maybe the big one originally, and its spores have spread, making those other smaller ones. Look at those little ones there, folks. Crazy. An interesting thing with mushrooms and fungus, they're like humans because they breathe oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, whereas all other plants and like trees and stuff like that are the opposite way. They breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. So it's crazy how the mushrooms have got a similar thing like that to the humans, which is a rare thing. in the natural world. They're a crazy object, a crazy creation on the surface of this planet here. Yeah, this is getting super overgrown, folks. I might turn back if it's too bad and I'll go a different path and we'll head on up around the other side of the wood, because it's crazy off in the network of paths. This one I'm having to climb through extreme like shrubbery and there's trees doing all sorts of stuff, so I'll see how it looks down here. Montreithmont has these bodies of water here, folks, which are used for firefighting, used for forest fires. I think there's a few of them and they've got a proper little overflow with the ditch kind of running away. But it's just a cool scene off and just looking up the water there, it's pure smooth. Wow, folks, it's crazy the variety of things you see. Sounds like there's a wee waterfall underneath this. Must be a little trickle of water coming over the waterfall. Anyway, I'm just pushing on. I've kept going the same direction that I was, and I'm just going to do a full circuit of the forest, but it's quite a long distance. I've not seen any ticks yet, so that's always a bonus on an adventure like this. I'm just pushing on, folks. I'll update you whenever I see anything else that's cool. I've not really seen as much like amazing mushrooms and stuff as what I thought I would see, but it's interesting often like see different sections of the forest. They've all got a different character, a different look to them. Just check the moss there, sphagnum moss. Often it can be 5 or 6 foot deep. It's like walking on a big foam floor. It's just like a big spongy floor. You just sink into it as you go. But I think often if you were in like a survival situation, you can use that like a bit of a bandage, because I think it's got antiseptic qualities. And I think also if you were dehydrated in the wild, you can squeeze the water out of that moss and it's fresh, pure water. So there's some interesting tips there, folks. All that's just in the natural landscape here of Scotland. Look at this, folks, in the mossy forest biome here. Look at this crazy mushroom, different to the others that we've seen. So interesting to see that. That's another type. And there's so many gunshots in the distance, it's like a war zone. The landscape's just incredible. It just keeps blowing my mind, the different things I see on an adventure like this. I don't know if those gunshots there. Mission update, folks. I'm nearing the top of this before I turn back to the right, and I literally just had a tick. The first of the day, there was a tick on my trousers, so it was crazy. It puts the adrenaline rush through you, folks. Crazy, like blood sucking animal. If they've been biting deer and stuff previously, they can actually give you Lyme's disease, which I think stays with you for the rest of your days. I've always been lucky on my adventures not to get bitten, but honestly, there's just crazy wildlife and nature. Sometimes the adventures I go on, it's like you're right in the middle of it, and I'm always just paying attention to make sure that the ticks aren't just walking right up. You have to flick them away and get them off you as quick as possible. But yeah, it's crazy, folks. When I see a tick, I get shook, and I'm just hoping I can like negotiate right the way back along without seeing any more. I'm so happy to be back on a proper path now that isn't fully grass. It's far less likely to get ticks when you're on like a gravel kind of track. I'm just not sure how the road is up ahead. I'll have to try and make it back to the other side of the forest before sunset. It's crazy often coming on a mad adventure like that, just exploring the countryside, almost getting lost in a forest. I've still got a few miles to negotiate, but this path takes me right along between the field and the forest. I can still hear these gunshots in the distance. I'm not sure if they're shooting geese or what they'd be doing there. check that out, folks. We've just started the next section of the forest here, and it's another one of these grassy roads where probably there'll be loads of ticks. I'm gonna hit, I'll hit to be so vigilant. But it's cool to see that's a different type of fungus that we've not seen yet. And look, it's just all over the ground here. Crazy little mushrooms. I call it fungus, but Ken, that's actually mushrooms there, folks. Wow, this is insane, folks. The grass is kind of growing over the path, and as it brushes against you, that's how the ticks go onto you. So often in a situation like this, you have to take big steps and push the grass down with your feet. But by the time you've walked like 2 miles doing that, it's a total madness, folks. It's a crazy situation to be in. All of these geese here have just taken off in the field, folks. You can hear the noise that they're making. Look at them, flocks of them. A flock of geese, is that the proper saying? Look, they're all landing. Incredible scenes once again, folks. Look at this, folks. This is a crazy fungus that we've not seen yet. Wow, I'm always amazed. Look at the different types. That's like a big white ball. It's amazing to see. And then check that out there. Wow, look at that. Something crazy that I would say about this place, folks. This road, there's just so many ticks and stuff on it. And we're really needing some hard frosts, like to kill all that stuff off. If I had a dog or whatever, or anybody walking a dog, I wouldn't advise going down that way. Again, there's just so many ticks. I was having to tread carefully to avoid them, and I had 3 on me, so it's crazy, folks. Look at this, folks. This is one of the roads where the forwarder has brought the wood to the side of the forest here. And then the trucks must come down here, and there's an area they can turn around. And then they collect the wood with their high ab and then away to the sawmills. But there's been a crazy amount of wood here because it looks like a lot of it's been taken away. And this is all the wood, obviously, from the bit that was kind of clear felled near the start of the video. Now we're right round the other side of that. We've done a full circuit around that tick-infested wilderness, and it's been crazy to see like the mushrooms and the fungus on that adventure. And yeah, I've still got like half the adventure to go because I'm going to take this next path on my left. I'm going a different route to when we came in. It's crazy often just exploring forest environments like this, folks. Oh look, there's a wheel. Yeah, look how much wood is here, it's just crazy. And it's not the thickest of timber, but there's a fair old stack of it. The path I'm needing to go is almost hidden fully from the timber operations. I'm not sure how muddy this is going to be. Wow, folks, this place looks super muddy. Check it out, I'm going to hit across over this. This must be where the forwarder's been coming out of the forest. He's been coming around that way, and then round the edge here. You can see the big muddy tracks. You never know how deep a bit like this can be. Where the tracks of the forwarder's been, it can be 8 foot deep or more. Because they can just get grip where others can't. Yeah, there's a path over here somewhere. Wow, I'm still keeping my eyes peeled for more rare hidden little bits of fungus, different types. Yeah, look, there's bricks and stuff. Often stuff like that's dumped. Loch Gelly. Yeah, often old remains of like building sites and stuff's brought to places like this and dumped when they're making the forest tracks. Because the timber's just a crop in places like this. And after a set number of years it just gets harvested and felled, and then it'll be replanted once again. But it has been a forest, a lot of it, since the war. I'm just checking once again to see if there's any ticks. You have to watch it, folks, because you see the wee black dot now and again. It's important just to get rid of it off your clothes. And they can crawl up the inside as well, but it's just a risk you have to take. Look at that there. Crazy autumn scene, folks. Yeah, look at these funguses. This is wild. Look at that one. It's been broken, but it's got a crazy pattern on it. Look at how it's come out of the ground and stuff. It's just mad. It's crazy to see that remains. Look, there's a double one or a triple. Wow, it looks like a few days ago there would have been even, like those ones would have been in their prime a few days ago and we've missed it. But then maybe some of those other ones wouldn't have been so vivid at that time, so it's just your luck at what time you go to the forest. And it'll probably look completely different again tomorrow, and that's the cool thing often about nature. You just have to capture a small time to see something amazing. Look at that, the colour of it. There must be like a dead bit of wood underneath there that's causing that. The fungus is growing on the dead wood. Look at that, folks. Every time now that I'm way to put the camera off, I keep noticing another crazy one. Look at the size and the shape of that one there. It's got a crazy like texture, almost like velvet. It's like a yellow velvet, folks. Look at that, folks, that bright red one there, next to these other strange little ones. Look at that, there's just loads of the little ones hidden within the grass. Look at that, folks, the texture. It's almost alien-like. They're almost like an alien-like plant form. Something you would expect to see on another planet. Check it out, folks. I'm just recording all these because there are different types, and it's just short little clips of each different one. It's crazy often in this type of like forest environment here. Must be really good for them growing. But it's been amazing to go on this whole adventure. Oh, here's one here that looks super yellow. What is this even here, folks? Wow, look at that. A pure yellow one. Just goes to show the different colours in nature. There's even red ones growing down there where the tree has blown over. Look at the length of the stem on that thing, folks. It's crazy. It's almost half a foot long. Unfortunately, it's toppled over before we could see its full splendour. Look at that, folks, the variety. There's three right there in one place, and look at that little one. Crazy. They're all within like a square foot of each other. It's like mushroom heaven around here. Look at this, folks. There's too many to record all of them, but just check the underside of that one. Look at it, it's like a cat converter on a car or something. Tons of little fibres almost holding its structure together. Look at that. We're just in the middle of like a mushroom minefield right here, folks. But I just thought that one was cool because we could see the underside of it so clearly. Look at that, folks. That bright orange thing there is actually a fungus. which is crazy to see. You get funguses, you get mould, and you get mushrooms, and they're all kind of similar variety. And whenever something's decomposing, that's one of the things which takes over, gets its nutrition from it. And look at the vivid colour there, occurring in nature. Crazy. It's almost like something you would see underwater at the Great Barrier Reef or something. Look, the sun's starting to set now and the forest's getting dark here. I've moved further along towards my car and you can see it's a complete different forest environment. That's the crazy thing about like Montreithmont wood and that here. It's almost like different biomes on Minecraft or whatever. I'm just going to try and make it back to the car before the sun sets though, folks. You're along this adventure with me. It's crazy sometimes just going full send into nature and you never know what you're going to see and you never know what's going to occur. Look at this, folks. This is another one of these fire dams in the forest here. It's so cool to see it. I'm sure there used to be like lilies on the top of this, but the water looks pretty stagnant nowadays. I remember a few years ago there was a goose that was like staying on this loch. Well, it's not even a loch, it's just a pond. But I'm sure these were created for defence if there was ever like a forest fire. They could easily pump a lot of water onto it. Wow, what an adventure this has been, folks. There's actually a wee island over there. We can hardly see it yet, folks. There's so much greenery here. Yeah, look at it. That's a total wee island right there. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much wildlife under the water, though. The water looks pretty stagnant, pretty stale. I think there's been 2 islands actually at one time. It's just there's so much grassy stuff growing, it's hard to even tell. If you went in there, you'd probably be stuck in mud. Sediment that's probably built up in there over the years. Anyway, I'm just picking this little route through back towards my car, folks, and it's a cool adventure. I'll update you if there's anything else amazing around this circuit. Look at how dark it is now in this thick forest, folks. I'm just hoping there's not trees down like blocking this path. It's been so long since I've come around here. But yeah, it's a proper eerie feel. The sun's obviously starting to set earlier now because we're later in the year here in Scotland. In the winter it often sets like 3:30, 4 o'clock. But just now it's setting about 7:30 in the evening, so again we still have some time for adventures, but you can see from the footage it's really getting dark here in the forest. Yeah, this is just like some crazy little path here, look. Right folks, that's me finally on the home stretch now, and we're just making our way back to the car. It's been crazy to see what we've seen in this video, and it's cool to hear a wide like variation of stuff like that on the channel. Like, it's crazy just to see what like mushrooms and fungus it is growing around the east of Scotland here in the forests. It's the most natural environment you'll find them in like that, and it's just cool to see the rich like variety of them. It's been cool to document it here on the channel. Not only is it like abandoned history, but it's like some crazy wildlife and nature often at times. It's cool just to hear that mixture on the channel, I think. Like, it's all just incredible, folks. Anyway, I'm going to end this one here. I'll be back very soon with the next adventure, so tune in again soon, folks.